Hello Libra, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business now and over 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure, Libra, to welcome you to this video of your cycles for your sign for July and August 2014. What I'm going to do for you here, Libra, is I'm going to first of all tell you a few things about yourself. That's always a bit of fun, to tell you about yourself, your personality, what makes you tick, and also the type of events and conditions that you'll experience in life, Libra, on a lifetime basis, and what sort of tests that you're developing inside of yourself and so forth. And then I'm going to look at the slower moving planets. Saturn takes 2.5 years, Libra, to go through each of our houses of the horoscope. And I'm going to tell you what impact that has during July and August. And also Jupiter. Jupiter takes 12 months to progress through a particular house of our horoscope, and I'll tell you what impact that Jupiter has in your life in July and August and beyond. And then I'm going to look at the faster moving planets, the faster moving bodies, which are the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars. And I'll put them on a timeline for you that gives you a week by week sort of analysis of what's coming up for you in these 2 months. So you just sit back and relax now, Libra, and we'll have some fun together, eh? Now, first of all, as I always do, I just like to have a little preliminary talk with you about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. We're all signed up for a number of incarnations. It's not a fixed number. It's a number of incarnations to come in and out of life time after time after time, Libra, until we reach a level of relative perfection. And then we can move on into higher dimensions of consciousness beyond the human level altogether. So all of us have lived hundreds of lifetimes to get where we are today. You're on the crest of the wave of evolution, Libra, because you're turning to astrology. The fact that you're interested in astrology, Libra, means that you're on the crest of the wave of evolution. And you're probably interested in things like meditation and reincarnation and stuff like that as well. The fact that you found your way to my website, which is quite an advanced website, then that means that you're certainly up there on the crest of the wave of evolution. So congratulations. But you've lived hundreds of lifetimes, and the purpose of life, Libra, is consciousness expansion. Each life that we live, we become more conscious, more awake, more aware, more alive as to what's going on around us. Just as in this life you've recapitulated your gains. You know that you are much more conscious and aware as an adolescent than what you were as a child. And so too, you're much more conscious, awake and aware as an adult now than what you were when you were an adolescent. So you know that you made a lot of mistakes in life as a child, and you made a lot of mistakes in life as an adolescent. But you learnt from those mistakes, and you grew and you reached and you stretched and you expanded your consciousness as you were progressing in this particular lifetime. So that gives you an idea of the way that we grow and reach and stretch and become more of our consciousness, more of our higher consciousness in each lifetime that we live. So our lifetimes are sort of cumulative, and each time we come back into life we bring with us all of our faculties, but unfortunately all of our faults and weaknesses and blockages and addictions as well, Libra. So all of us are on the path of life, and the name of the game is consciousness expansion, and God and Goddess have given you the gift of eternal life. You can never ever die, and that's a beautiful gift. But they've also given you another important gift, Libra, and that is the gift of consciously creating your reality and the events and conditions in your life. That means in accordance and compliance with your conscious choice. Now, most of us, Libra, don't want to accept that responsibility. The reason why is because our events and conditions that we're experiencing in life are generally not too hot. They're not the greatest in the world. And so we want to look around and find, who can we blame for this? Who can we blame for the fact that I'm struggling financially? Who can I blame for the fact that I can't hold down a relationship? Who can I blame for the fact that I'm in ill health? Who can I blame for this, and who can I blame for the fact that I'm addicted to this and addicted to that? Who can I blame? Oh, I've got to blame Mum, got to blame Dad. Mum didn't love me good enough, and Dad, he abused me or whatever, and locked me in the room that night and abused me and treated me very badly. Or you want to blame that ex-lover or that ex-spouse. That's always a good one. They're the ones who did it to me. And or that offender, or that ex-boss who fired you. So, there's always those there that you can point the finger at. But what happens, Libra, is that when you are pointing the finger of blame at somebody for the events and conditions that you're experiencing in life, subconsciously you want to recreate those conditions so that you can continue to point the finger of blame. If everything's going well in your life and you're financially succeeding and you're starting projects and doing well and having a lot of happiness in the home and the family side of your life, and romance and love is working out well, and you're healthy, and the job is working out well, and relationships and marriage are all working out well, and so forth, then you really can't point the finger of blame anymore. And so therefore we tend to keep ourselves subconsciously, mind you, in that state of affairs where we are struggling and where we have problems with our self-esteem, problems with our self-image. We have beliefs and attitudes in the subconscious mind that I'll never succeed, I'm unlovable, relationships don't work out for me, I'll never amount to anything, and I'm a failure, and so forth. So these are the problems, is that we've all got these same raw materials. God and Goddess have given us 4 raw materials, and everybody's got the same raw materials, Libra. And those raw materials are our attitudes and beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings. And those attitudes and beliefs are quite often negative, like low self-esteem and problems with our self-image and guilt and shame and fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurities and self-sabotage and so on and so forth. And that's not to mention our addictions to alcohol and drugs and self-punishment and fear and so forth. So all of us have got these negative attitudes and beliefs there in the subconscious mind, and they're the things that are creating our events and conditions in our life, because those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings sponsor decisions and choices. And sometimes those decisions and choices are not wise decisions and choices at Libra. And so those are all of our raw materials, those attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, decisions and choices are our raw materials, and we mould and shape those raw materials into the events and conditions of our life with 3 tools, Libra. Nobody has any different tools, and they are our desire, our imagination and our expectation. What do we desire to happen? If we've got those subconscious things that where we want to fail, we're aiming as if we want to succeed, but we really subconsciously want to fail so that I can continue to point the blame, the finger of blame at Mum or Dad. So the object of the exercise, Libra, is to develop wisdom. Wisdom comes from a lot of experience, and we've all had a lot of experience in life, and some of those experiences are very nasty, and an intake of knowledge. You'll never develop wisdom just through experience, and you'll never develop wisdom just through an intake of knowledge. Wisdom comes from a combination of an intake of knowledge and experience, and synergistically out of it all comes wisdom, a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts. So this is the purpose of life, Libra, is to be able to expand our consciousness, to become more awake, aware and alive as to the nature of reality and our place in that reality, and to start working on those raw materials, because we can change the direction of our thinking processes. We have 50,000 thoughts a day, and those thoughts are pumping up these thought forms inside of ourselves. And these thought forms become so strong from repetition over a period of decades that they have to explode into an event and condition in your life. And the thing that triggers them off is the movement of the planets through the houses of the horoscope. So when these are ripe, like a piece of fruit, they're ready to be plucked. These thought forms, when they're ripe and ready to express themselves as a condition and event in your life, they're ready to be activated by the movements of the planets through the houses of your horoscope, and that's what I'm going to get into now for you. So you just sit back and relax now and enjoy the journey with me here, Libra. Now, you're a very idealistic type of person, Libra. You love music, artistic and creative things. You're all the time seeking balance and harmony around yourself. And you can't stand arguments and conflicts. You live for other people. You love friendships and relationships. You only feel like half a person when you're not involved in a close friendship or attachment in life. And you're a cardinal sign, so you've got the ability to commence and start projects and ideas, so you're a go-getter. And you're an air sign, so you're very communicative and you really love music. You love dancing and things like that. You love the general public. You like going out to restaurants and places of amusement and being among the general public in shopping malls and things like that as well. Your finances, Libra, are a little bit of a mystery package. You perhaps have 3 or 4 credit cards going at the one time, always trying to balance the budget, and there's quite a lot of mystery there in terms of your finances. How you keep your head above water is a mystery affair, that's for sure. You're very deep and introspective when it comes to your financial matters, and you're very secretive and you keep a lot of things to yourself. Now, you're very frank, straightforward and to the point. You call a spade a spade. You have relatives who live distantly from you, and you have neighbours who are born overseas. So you have neighbours who come from overseas. And you love driving into the country, Libra. You love driving into the country and seeing all the beauties of nature, especially the mountains and the trees. And there's a lot of duality there in your mind, in your nature. You feel at times as if there's 2 people in the one body. You're keen to expand your understanding through adult education, so you're always on the march to improve yourself through some extra course of study or some whatever. And there's some unhappiness there to do with the family, the early death of one of your parents perhaps, or a very strict parent, or a breakup in your family situation as a child. So maybe there was a breakup in the marriage between your mum and your dad or something like that. And there's a lot of periods of loneliness around the home, quite feasibly. Many times you're waiting for things to come to a conclusion in your life, Libra, and they're sort of drawn out, as if it takes a long time to get the end result there. Now, you go in for unusual hobbies and interests. Anything that's out of the ordinary is naturally appealing to you. You're up to date with all of the latest technology, and computers and things like that play an important part in your life. And you belong to some unusual clubs too, perhaps futuristic type of clubs and organisations and societies and things like that. New Age philosophy and things like that can be appealing to you in terms of group interests and social welfare matters as well. You get into relationships under very unusual circumstances too, Libra. So you can form relationships quite suddenly under unusual circumstances. It's a 1,000,000 to 1 shot that I met this person there under these circumstances. And there can be some sudden crises in relationships too, sudden breakups of relationships. Now you could work in a hospital or an institution at some time in your life. You could work with chemicals, pharmaceuticals, or in the healthcare industry in some way. And you can get embroiled in a secret relationship with somebody that you work with or meet through the job, Libra. Now your spouse, you jump into a hasty relationship early in life and get your fingers burnt a bit. And your spouse perhaps is a bit of a dominant person in their nature, very aggressive and assertive, and they wear a uniform in the job quite feasibly at some time in their life, or a dust coat or overalls. Now you and your partner are always keen to accumulate wealth. You're always keen to accumulate money, and you like to really hoard luxuries as well. Luxury interior decorations and luxury furnishings and things like that. Possessions. So that'll do as far as your personality is concerned anyway, Libra. Now I'm going to look at the cycles that you're living through over the next couple of months, and I'll start off with Saturn for you. Now Saturn takes 2.5 years, Libra, to transit through a particular house of a horoscope. And so Saturn has been in the second house of your finances for the last 12 months at least, and that's been a very difficult time for you to do with money. You've also had some throat and neck trouble in that last 12 months. And there's been a lot of frustrations for you generally with purchases of things. They haven't worked out the way that you wanted them to. So you wanted to get this appliance and you couldn't get it for some reason because of financial difficulty or something like that. And the throat and neck trouble, that has perhaps led to some difficulties with colds and things like that in the last 12 months. And you may have had a lot of pain around the back of the neck and that sort of thing, so you've got to practice relaxation a lot more. Now Saturn is retrograde in your horoscope at the moment, and that means that it's impacting upon other houses of your horoscope as well. So it's impacting negatively upon the home and the family and the domestic side of life over the immediate past and up until the 21st of July. It is causing some ill health for a parent if they're still alive, problems in the social side of your life and with romance and love, plans to go here and go there and they're delayed or obstructed or put off. And Saturn also in the 5th house will cause illness of a child perhaps, for any children in your life. So there's a few frustrations there up until the 21st of July, and that's probably been going on for the last 2 or 3 months as well. And then Saturn goes direct on the 21st of July, and that means that it's going to focus then just upon the finances. Things will go a bit better with your finances from there on, but you'll still have your own fair share of frustrations with money and possessions. Now Jupiter, Libra, is in the 10th house of your horoscope currently, and it's been there for the last 12 months. So you've had very good stars to do with ambitions and plans to do with business and career. You've had some promotion or advancement perhaps in the last 12 months. You've perhaps had a parent, if they're alive, you've perhaps had a parent who's travelled overseas or interstate in the last 12 months, and you may have even travelled with a parent. There's been happiness through parents and maybe some sort of surgery or something like that involving a parent as well. Now then, Jupiter enters the 11th house of your horoscope, Libra, on the 17th of July. So on the 17th of July, Jupiter enters the 11th house of your horoscope and remains there for 12 months. That's going to be a very good time for friends and formation of friendships. Club activities will go well. There's very good stars for you generally to do with group activities, and other people's children can play a very prominent part in your life socially, and there's a lot of happiness there for the formation of new friendships. A friend could travel overseas, or you could travel with a friend overseas in the next 12 months. Now I'm going to look at the faster moving bodies for you, Libra. Now I'm going to put these on a timeline. There's the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars, and I'll tell you where they are at the beginning of July, 1st of July, and then that will remain, that sort of influence that I describe will remain, Libra, until I make a change in house, until that planet moves into a different house. And then I'll tell you what that is and what sort of impact that's going to be. So it's on a timeline over the next 8 weeks, okay? Now on the 1st of July, Libra, the Sun starts off in the 10th house of your horoscope. So there's more social activities involving parents. There's also a lot of focus upon the career and your ambitions in life. Elevation and advancement there, a lot of dealings with government departments, and also a lot of social activities revolving around a career and business. Mercury is in the 9th house of your horoscope on the 1st of July, and Venus is also there in the 9th house of your horoscope. With Mercury and Venus in the 9th house, with Mercury first of all in the 9th house, there's a lot more communication with in-laws. And there's a lot of communication about spiritual things and adult education and matters relating to travel and adult education. Venus in the 9th house of your horoscope will bring a lot more social involvements with in-laws, and it could see a journey overseas in the next couple of weeks. There's possibilities of good stars for you socially with people who are born overseas. And it's a very happy time for you to do with any sort of educational activities that you want to get involved in. Romantically, if you're in the market for a romance, then there can be romance with someone who was born overseas or comes from overseas. Now Mars is in the 1st house of your horoscope, Libra, at the 1st of July. When Mars is in the 1st house of your horoscope, there's headaches, impulsiveness, aggressiveness, tension and stress in your life to do with personal interests. So they're the sort of experiences that you can be experiencing at the moment. And you can be rather impulsive in speech, assertive and dominant in your nature, and you've got to try and practice relaxation a lot more. You can have headaches and things like that, Libra, with Mars in the 1st house. Now, the first change that we have, Libra, is on the 14th of July, with Mercury moving into the 10th house of your horoscope. So there's a lot more dealings with government departments when Mercury's in the 10th house. There's a lot of contracts and agreements and things connected with the career, a lot more communication with parents, and a lot more communications involved in career and business. Can be an important contract or an agreement tied in with a government department. Now Venus moves into the 10th house of your horoscope on the 19th of July, Libra, and when Venus is in the 10th house, there's a lot more social involvements with business and career. There's very good stars through government departments and very good stars through parents socially. should they be alive. Now then on the 23rd of July, the Sun moves into the 11th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. When the Sun is in the 11th house, Libra, there's going to be a lot more club activities, group social functions, and a lot more activity with friends and other people's children on a social scale. And then on the 27th of July, Mars moves into the second house of finances. When Mars moves into the second house of finances, you'll have a tendency to be impulsive with money. You'll certainly want to be spending money, but there can be stresses and tensions to do with money matters and matters relating to your security. And don't be impulsive with money, and you'll have a stress and tension around the back of the neck with Mars in the second house as well. So you've got to practice relaxation a lot more in those parts. On the 1st of August, Libra, Mercury moves into the 11th house of your horoscope, so there's a lot more communication with friends when Mercury is in the 11th house of your horoscope, and Venus moves into the 11th house of your horoscope on the 13th of August. So that's going to see a lot more social involvements with other people's children, a lot more social involvements of a club nature and group activities, and a lot more happiness through friends, and new friendships can be formed, and romantic attachments can be formed if you're in the market for a romance. Then on the 16th of August, Libra, Mercury moves into the 12th house of your horoscope, and that begins a cycle of secret worries and self-undoing. You can be your own worst enemy. Be careful not to enter contracts or agreements when Mercury is in the 12th house. There's bound to be worries and health problems for relatives who could be hospitalised. There could be a visit to hospital to see someone. And on the 24th of August, the last one that we come to, the Sun moves into the 12th house of your horoscope, and that begins a cycle of introspection and reflection for 30 days when you'll be aspiring towards the divine, but you can be your own worst enemy as well when the Sun is in the 12th house. You can get back into habit patterns that you're trying to get rid of, addictive patterns of behaviour that are not in your own best interest, Libra. But by the same token, you can aspire more towards the divine when is in the 12th house of your horoscope through a desire for solitude. And that's as far as I go for you, Libra. Now, where do you go from here, Libra? Well, where you go from here is to submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website, Libra. And I'll do your horoscope chart for you free of charge so that you know what your ascendant is. Your ascendant or your rising sign is equally as important as your sun sign. And to know where that is will steer you towards other videos of mine that are to do with that particular sign. And when you submit your birth details through Your Horoscope page of my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com, then not only do I send you your horoscope chart, but I send you 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters. And that's a book about astrology, meditation and reincarnation. And I do it all in simple terminology for you, Libra, to help you to understand the nature of reality and your place in that reality. Now you might say to yourself, well, I'm not really interested in astrology, but you are living in the 12 houses of your horoscope. There's no getting away from it. It's like saying that I'm not interested in life. So yes, everybody has to be interested in astrology because that's where we live and move and have our being, is in the 12 houses of our horoscope. The first house of our horoscope, just going through them very quickly, is our personal self-initiated efforts, and that's where we fulfill our needs to have impact. And the second house is to do with our finances, and that's where we fulfill our needs to have security in our life. The third house is where we fulfill our needs to communicate, to be understood and to get our point across. The fourth house, Libra, is where we fulfill our needs to belong to a family unit, and the home environment is the arena for that. The fifth house is where we fulfill our needs to have fun, and that includes sexual activities and social activities, and the need to express our love, and we do that through loved ones and through our children. And the sixth house is where we fulfill our service needs, our needs to be of service to the community, and that brings in active interest in work. Meaningful employment is a very important part of our health, and so health fits into that category as well. And our needs for right diet and right exercise and so forth fit into that category. The seventh house is the house of having a partner and a spouse, a mate, to fulfill our needs to be known and to have somebody that we can get to know. So being known is a very important need that has to be fulfilled, and to be intimate and close with someone that we can get to know. And our eighth house is where we fulfill our needs for change. And the ninth house is where we fulfill our needs for expansion, and adult education fits into that category, and travel overseas, expansion of our consciousness. The 10th house is where we fulfill our esteeming needs, to be well thought of in the community, to aspire towards career and business achievements, as distinct from the 6th house of the job. And the 11th house is where we fulfill our needs for group impact and for friendships, and to belong to a group and to have group consciousness and group purpose. And the 12th house is where we fulfill our needs for solitude and for aspiration towards the divine. So they're the 12 houses of our horoscope, and that's where we are living and moving, Libra, and having our being. So by submitting your birth details through my website, I'll send you those 12 CDs as well as your horoscope chart, and I'll then be able to send you all of my videos, all of the 125 videos that I've done on all aspects of personal and spiritual growth, and help you to become more of the giant that you truly are. You're on the crest of the wave of evolution, and subscribe to my videos, because then you get every new one that comes out. I'm bringing out every new videos all the time. Every 2 months I'm bringing out new videos on your sign and on your rising sign. And that's the task at hand. The task at hand is consciousness expansion, Libra. Consciousness expansion, to keep on expanding that consciousness. Consciousness about what? The nature of reality and your place in that reality. God and Goddess are waiting there to be your partner. They love you and they know your name. And they've given you the gift of eternal life. And they've also given you the gift to create all of the events and conditions of your life consciously, through the power of conscious choice. So it's time to take back that power. And there's time to develop wisdom. Wisdom, the synergy, the whole that is greater than the sum of the parts, that you get through experience and through an intake of knowledge. So the 12 CDs out of my book, What Really Matters, will help you to expand that consciousness, expand that understanding, to become more of who you really are, so that you can learn the art of meditation, and you can get in there and work with those raw materials, and you can change those raw materials. And when you change those raw materials, you change the events and conditions that those raw materials are precipitating into your life as conditions and events. So it's nice to have this opportunity anyway, Libra, to be able to talk with you. And I look forward to working further with you. I've also got a horoscope number 2, which is for only $10, you get a 20-page horoscope that's all about you. Not just your sun sign or your rising sign. Someone born 2 hours later than you has a completely different set of conditions and circumstances in their life than what you do, Libra. And so When you get horoscope number 2 done by me, I tell you where all of your planets are, in which houses and what signs and what aspects that they form with each other, and therefore what qualities, principles and values that you are developing in this particular lifetime, and what obstacles and obstructions and blockages that you are working on to overcome. All of us have got faults, all of us have got weaknesses. We wouldn't be here in this reality if we were perfect. The object of the exercise is to grow and reach and stretch to become more of your higher self. And as you become more of your higher self, Libra, it becomes more of God and Goddess. So it's an eternal journey of ever becoming more of your higher self, as it is on an eternal journey of ever becoming more of God, Goddess, all that is. We never get home. We're always coming home. So it's a wonderful journey of expansion of our consciousness forever and ever. And I'm happy to have had this opportunity to be able to talk with you about that, because I love God and Goddess. They've given me the gift of eternal life, and I'm very grateful for that. And I've learnt the art of meditation, and I can go in there into inner dimensions and link up with inner friends and so forth that you'll learn about through my intensives. So it's nice to have the opportunity to talk with you, Libra, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to take the next step. Thank you.